All right, you put your balance, fella. Just like that. God damn. Just like that. Just like that. God damn. Just like that.
It feel like it actually feel like a home run, like when someone hit the bat and it just right on the top.
Gervonta Davis promised to return to training just a week after his fight against Lamont Roach, and he's keeping his word. Now in his third week of camp, he has been training quietly until now. This week, he's stepping into the spotlight, granting interviews, and engaging with the media for the first time since his return. In an interview after a sparring session, Gervonta Davis was asked why he cut his rest time so short, especially since Lamont Roach has been busy with interviews and appearances. Davis explained that he has a point to prove to the boxing world, and he won't rest until he does. He admitted that his fight against Roach was an eye-opener, exposing distractions and challenges he needed to overcome. That's why he jumped back into training so quickly. His biggest battle right now is with himself.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
I've got to discipline myself and stay in control. This rematch is all that matters to me, and I won't rest until I handle it the right way, Gervonta "Tank" Davis said. Meanwhile, his opponent, Lamont Roach, has been making the rounds in the media, giving interview after interview since their fight on March 1st. But Tank, he couldn't care less. I really don't care. That's none of my business. He can do whatever he wants, Davis stated. However, he warned that if Roach won over fans by making their first fight competitive, it could backfire if he falls short in the rematch.
Go far, it's just like that. So that's how I feel when you actually hit somebody on the butt and you know that you catch them real good. So that's how I feel for me.
But Tank wasn't even concerned about Roach's level of preparation. He made it clear, when they meet for the rematch, he plans to put him to bed and end his career. After the interview, where he openly shared his mindset and game plan, Tank got right back to work, doing body exercises, stretches, and push-ups. Throughout his career, the lightweight champion has been booed by the crowd more than once. The last fight was no different. Fans expected way more from him, and his performance, especially the bizarre moment in the 9th round, left them disappointed. Determined to silence the doubters, Tank has now pushed his training to the next level. After finishing his body exercises, the world champion moved on to the mitts and heavy bag, testing his punching power. Then, he jumped into a sparring session with an unknown partner before taking a short break. But just as he paused, he turned to the camera and said, "No break until I break him up." According to a reputable news source, Gervonta Davis is already sharpening his fitness and is nearing peak condition for his rematch with Lamont Roach. His intense training marks the beginning of what promoter Leonard Ellerbe called the road to revival in a recent conversation with the media. Leonard Ellerbe stated that he understands everything Tank is going through. He pointed out that having kids changes a person's life completely, and he believes Tank now sees things differently than he did 6 or 7 years ago. If he says he's not thinking about retirement, then that's exactly what he means. We all heard him, Ellerbe said regarding Gervonta's retirement talk. Ellerbe emphasized that life is about more than just boxing. While fighters owe respect to the fans who pay to watch them, they also have lives outside the ring. He noted that fans want boxers to keep fighting, but they don't always consider the long-term impact on their health. He went on to describe boxing as a brutal sport, pointing out how many past fighters have been taken advantage of in different ways and suffered serious health problems as a result.
beast mode. Let's go. Oh my God, man.
They went through a lot of health problems, many of them permanent, Ellaby said. While some believe that a boxer's goal should be to make their mark and then step away, he acknowledged that everyone has their own perspective and different goals in life.
I'm gonna touch him up. Something nice. Touch him up, something nice. Touch him up, something nice. Touch him up, something nice.
Always supposed to be.
One of the biggest reasons Gervonta Davis jumped back into training so soon for the rematch is his disappointment with how the first fight played out. He has spoken before about his greatest fear, and as the WBA lightweight champion, he knows that if his preparation doesn't change, that fear could become reality. Tank has admitted that his biggest fear is embarrassment. "I'm not trying to go out and get my butt kicked," he said. That explains a lot about his fighting style. Despite being known for his knockout power, he often spends the early rounds carefully analyzing his opponent and avoiding unnecessary risks. It's all about survival, which makes sense given his tough upbringing. While flashy training montages can make any fighter look unstoppable, just like people once thought Mike Tyson would easily destroy Jake Paul, Davis's training is driven by something deeper. He has always hated losing. When asked to reflect on his biggest fear, he put it plainly. More than anything, he wants to avoid being embarrassed. Boxing scene's Kieran Mulvaney has often said on podcasts that, more than anything, fighters hate being clowned. Tank is no different. He's determined to avoid that kind of humiliation by preparing as hard as possible. "You become this meme," Davis said, referring to fighters who get embarrassed in the ring. He laughed before quoting another popular meme, "I ain't got time for that." Meanwhile, Roach comes across as a stark contrast. From the start, he made it clear that he wanted big fights, saying he didn't hesitate to accept the challenge against Davis. His laid-back attitude is also reflected in the way he approaches training camp, even down to the simple breakfast bowl he eats every morning. Compared to Tank's intense, all-business mentality, Roach appears much more easygoing. We get more time with Roach training in Plant City, Florida. He casually mentions, with a chuckle, that he plans to beat Gervonta Davis mercilessly. How much he truly believes that, only he knows. Roach's personality shines through as we see him cooking, a small but telling moment. He seems light and comfortable in camp, which isn't surprising. He's a veteran of the sport, having navigated the ups and downs of a boxing career, just like Tank. He's a wild card, Roach says about Davis, referencing last month's rumors that the fight might be off. Was it Tank flexing his power to negotiate a bigger payday? That's a fair guess.
He gonna be a damn fool. He trying to watch me the first half of the fight. He gonna be down, and then next thing you know, the last bell gonna ring. Nigga be like, ding, 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 winner, Lamont Roach.
Okay, but while people is watching your technique, say you don't get him down and he measures your technique. I'm just saying, this is what
The fact that this is a rematch makes it an interesting matchup, but what makes it unique is that both fighters are world champions, just in different weight classes. Because of this, despite their status as champions, the fight won't be for a unified world title. However, just like in their first fight, Lamont Roach brings something that most of Gervonta Davis's recent opponents have lacked: size. Davis is used to fighting naturally bigger opponents who, in pursuit of a title shot and a big payday, end up draining themselves to make weight. This often leads to disappointing performances on fight night. That won't be the case with Roach, who will be moving up to the 135 pounds lightweight division for only the second time. Since this is his natural progression rather than a forced weight cut, he's expected to be stronger and more energized than recent Davis opponents like Frank Martin and Ryan Garcia, who looked drained when they fought him. This key factor could make the rematch play out just like their first fight, or perhaps even more competitively.
Getting at his personal business, probably just showing him that, I could do anything, especially in your backyard.
Nonetheless, Davis is locked in at the gym, preparing intensely for his next big test. In fact, he seems to be taking this fight even more seriously than the first one, and the reason isn't hard to figure out. The Baltimore champion and Lamont Roach share a deep history. Their fight on March 1st has now become a major chapter in their story, but there's more to it than just that night. If there's any fighter who can push Davis both physically and mentally, it's Roach. Davis has already admitted that his biggest fear is being embarrassed in the ring. That fear fuels his relentless training. He knows exactly how brutal boxing fans can be, just like they were toward his last opponent after Tank knocked him out. This time, he's making sure he's the one handing out the punishment, not receiving it.
Sir, come on, quick. Drop those hips. Nice. Come on. Give me that explosion. Rip.
That moment was captured in slow motion, his face twisted by Gervonta Davis's punch, his lips and cheeks rippling from the impact before he hit the canvas and stayed down until the count was over. Tank knows how humiliating that kind of knockout can be, and he's determined to make sure he never finds himself on the receiving end of it. That's why he's pushing himself to the limit in training. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach has vowed to teach Davis a lesson. But Davis isn't backing down. He's made his own promise to break Roach apart when they step into the ring again.
Imagine the life of a boxer, an existence honed by meticulous preparations.
And they are in talk.
Right now, Roach's name is ringing bells because he fought a draw with Tank. So it would be the right thing to do to call his name. You know, I just don't see Shakur taking chances with.
Gervonta Davis chose Lamont Roach Jr. as his opponent last year, but few expected their fight to end in a controversial majority draw, splitting opinions among boxing fans. Roach pushed Davis to the limit on March 1st in New York, with the 9th round becoming a major point of debate. After landing a combination, Davis unexpectedly took a knee, rushed to his corner, and had his coach, Calvin Ford, wipe his face before resuming the fight. Referee Steve Willis began a 10-count but stopped when Davis continued, meaning no official knockdown was recorded. The decision sparked controversy, as similar situations are usually ruled as knockdowns, leaving many fans and analysts questioning the call.
That ain't the reality of the sport. You're going to get hit. Somewhere you're going to get hit. You know?
When you look at that matchup, is it entertaining, or does Shakur make the entertainment less due to, the styles with Roach and
yeah, he'll make it less entertainment because of his style. Roach coming to fight. We just see.
Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach have ignited a heated rivalry that now seems to extend far beyond the boxing ring, especially after their controversial March 1st fight, where Roach was left with an unlucky majority draw against the Baltimore champion. While they traded punches in the ring that night, they've since taken their fight to social media, and things are getting intense. The battlefield of Twitter, now known as X, has turned into a war zone, with both fighters throwing verbal punches and leaving virtual scars. The trash talk is escalating, making their upcoming rematch even more personal. The rivalry took another turn when Davis and Roach faced off in a heated Instagram Live session. The back and forth got so intense that neither fighter could back down. They had no choice but to promise each other a rematch. But before that, Roach received some shocking news from the New York State Athletic Commission, adding even more fuel to the fire. What exactly was said remains to be seen, but one thing is clear. This rematch is no longer just about boxing, it's personal.
Do me regardless. I told him to leave his mom and, the people home, and he still broke them. It's crazy, man. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad, man. But, you know, it's all love.
The New York State Athletic Commission has finally ruled on the controversial knockdown that overshadowed Gervonta Davis's majority draw against Lamont Roach on March 1st. Davis retained his WBA lightweight title at the Barclays Center in New York, with 2 judges scoring the fight 114-114 and one giving Davis a narrow 115-113 edge. However, the biggest talking point of the night came in the 9th round, when Davis took a knee after absorbing a series of punches from Roach. Now, with the commission's final verdict in, the controversy surrounding that moment may finally have some closure, or it could add even more tension to an already heated rivalry.
I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works. It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar.
Although referee Steve Willis began a 10 count when Davis took a knee in the 9th round, he stopped at 3 after Davis complained of something in his eye. Instead of continuing the count, Willis allowed Davis to go to his corner, get his eye cleaned, and then restart the fight. Fans were frustrated with the officiating, and many argued that Roach should have won if the knockdown had been officially recorded. According to ESPN, the New York State Athletic Commission has now upheld the majority draw result. However, in their ruling, the commission acknowledged that after reviewing the footage extensively, the correct call should have been to declare Davis's knee touching the canvas as a knockdown. While the decision won't change the fight's outcome, it only adds more controversy to an already heated rivalry.
I damn sure thought I had it, especially when they announced the score for him. I was like, oh, they gonna give me a split decision win. I was like, oh, yeah.
The commission stated that the decision to call a knockdown was entirely within the referee's discretion. They also noted that even if it had been ruled a knockdown, there was no way to determine if it would have affected the outcome of the final 3 rounds. Further adding to the controversy, the commission admitted that instant replay technology was not working during the fight, meaning there was no official review at the time. Afterward, Davis claimed he took a knee because grease from a hair treatment burned his eyes. Whether fans accept that explanation or not, the 9th round debate continues to fuel the rivalry.
As soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with. So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
The boxing world expected fireworks when Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. squared off, but no one anticipated the controversy that followed. Their WBA super featherweight title fight ended in a disputed draw, leaving fans and analysts divided. Roach's team quickly appealed to the New York State Athletic Commission, hoping to overturn the result. While the commission acknowledged the referee's mistake in the 9th round, they ultimately ruled that the draw would stand. Frustrated by the outcome, Roach sees only one way to settle the score, getting Davis back in the ring. But how soon will that happen? According to his promoter, the rematch is almost a done deal, with only a few final details left to be sorted out.
Gary, when you look at the result of this, do you think there's need to be systemic changes in boxing where someone can say, as Jack Reese told us when we broke this down and got his opinions about all this, he goes, well, it's referee's discretion. It's referee's. We heard that over and over and over again. And
while Davis has stayed quiet on the rematch details, Roach Jr. has been vocal about his desire for revenge. Frustrated by how the first fight played out, he recently took to social media to push for the rematch, even betting $250,000 on the outcome. With Davis reportedly aiming to settle the score by the end of May, anticipation is at an all-time high. The big question now is, will the champion come back stronger and rewrite his wrongs, or will he deliver another performance that fuels doubts about whether he's still at the top of his game? Many are already questioning if his best days are behind him. That's all for now. For the latest updates on boxing's biggest moments, events, and rivalries, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on high-quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.